Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
It will be mostly sunny this afternoon, hot around the Omaha area with a high of 93. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm very late tonight. A little better chance, around 40% of showers and storms on Monday morning. Otherwise, clearing in the afternoon with a high of 87 and about 87 again on Tuesday with sunshine. That's your forecast. I'm Roger Olson.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in... we're broadcasting live on Facebook, and I hit the start to the broadcast, and there's a freeze frame of me with like the most surprised expression on my face, like I didn't know it was going to happen or something. I'm not sure what's going on with the Facebook feed, guys, but it's choppy as all get out for me, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll see if we can't. I don't know what we'll do about it. It's Facebook. But we've got service centers all over the place to help you out. The original service center in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. In Omaha, 168th and Burke, across the street from the Village Point Mall. In Papillion on 84th and Highway 370 in the Midlands Place Shopping Center. And the newest Schrock Innovations, 9500 University Avenue in West Des Moines, Iowa. Number to join us on the program this morning. If you have a question, have a comment, we're here to help you out. 888-250-2091. That's 888-250-2091. Pretty awesome there for most new mobile devices. We also gave you a heads up about how thieves are draining bank accounts through phone viruses. So that was something to keep in mind there as well, to watch out and make sure that your phones, mobile devices, tablets have antivirus on them, just like a normal computer. Now, I'm going to take an aside here because I have a training point. All my employees listen to the radio show every week. And this is something that I guess in the past, we recommend Sophos antivirus. Sophos antivirus, the reason we recommend it is because there is nothing better, because nothing gets through it. It offers degrees of protection that simply are not available to consumer-based antivirus products. To compare Sophos antivirus to Avast would be comparing an F-15 to a twin-engine airplane. I mean, it literally, yes, they can both fly through the air and they can both get you from point A to point B, but the two are designed for very different things. And Sophos is designed with the assumption that somebody is coming after you, your computer, your devices, your internet connection. Somebody is coming after something that's important to you. All the others are like, well, you're one of the sheep among the herd, and, if somebody comes for the herd, a few of the sheep are going to get it, but then we'll figure it out, and then the rest of the herd will be safe. So as long as you're not one of those first few sheep, everything is fine. Which, when you're having attacks launched on an hourly basis, or faster, that's a lot of sheep getting slaughtered every day. And the odds of you becoming one of them are pretty good. And it's not a really big deal, until, of course, your network is the one that gets hit with ransomware infection, or your business gets taken down, or your computer gets used to attack somebody else's system, and, the government comes knocking on your door asking why you were attacking people. Or, your bank account gets drained because, your phone got a virus and it's been sending, $12.99 text messages 15 times a day, and then deleting them from your text message log so you don't see them till you get your phone bill at the end of the month, and then you have $1,000 in SMS charges for text messages that you claim you never sent, but they can prove that you did send because your phone did send them, but it was a virus. Well, there's no insurance for that. There's no mulligan there. It's not like you can call the cell phone company and say, well, it was a virus, it wasn't me. Sure, sir, it was a virus. Yeah. And your Twitter got hacked this week too, right? You got to keep yourself safe. And so we had a situation in the Omaha Service Center where we had a customer. She was, she's an elderly customer. And so we always try to be careful in these situations because we make recommendations for things that you need to do, maintenance things that need to be done to a computer. Sometimes the names are similar: Safe Upgrade, Secure Updater, Sophos. keeping them all separate, I could see why some people get confused on that. One of the things that we have to be very, very careful about is that when we are offering products, services, upgrades, things like that to customers, things they genuinely need for their computers, that we are explaining them thoroughly enough that everybody can understand what's going on. We had a situation in the Omaha Service Center where a customer, we did a safe upgrade, which means their version of Windows 10 was old and it needed to be brought current so they could get security updates. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you're running for antivirus, your computer is not safe. She had a prepaid maintenance checkup. That's all she wanted done. Basically, there was some confusion. We did the safe upgrade. The technician asked her to pay for the safe upgrade. It was just a mess all the way around. And she was recommended, Sophos as well because she was running Avira antivirus. Avira is another free antivirus. It's not nearly as well known as some of the others out there. But apparently at some point in Schrock Innovations history, she had been offered Sophos before. She said, I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford Sophos. There's just, she can't do it. Sorry. So what else should I do instead? And someone said, well, you can get Avira, I guess. And I guess I would much rather see you with something like Avira than nothing at all. But it's like tissue paper armor. I mean, it makes you feel better about having something on, but it's not really going to save you when the rubber meets the road. It's not doing anything for you. And so our technician recommended, hey, we need to get you off Avira and get you into Sophos. And this customer was a little upset because apparently one of my guys had told her at some point in the past that she should run Avira. Okay, so officially, our training says we don't recommend anything except for Sophos. We definitely don't install anything except for Sophos because once we install it, there's an expectation that we are going to warranty it. So if we install your McAfee Total Protect and then, you start growing viruses like tumors, it's our fault, right? Because we installed that on your computer. No, we don't install that on your computer. If you want to install your McAfee, you can do it. If you want to install your Norton with LifeLock, you can do that. If you want to put a gun to your own head and pull the trigger, you can do that. We're not going to do any of those things for you. But at some point, someone was trying to be nice to a customer. And I can't fault my guys for genuinely trying to be nice to a customer to say, listen, I understand you can't afford Sophos. It would be better for you to have something than nothing. This is something, and it's free. So I want to be really clear about we recommend Sophos because we know it works. We recommend Sophos because we are willing to stake our reputation behind that product. I am not willing to stake my reputation behind Avira or Avast or Norton or any of the other McAfee or Malwarebytes or any Total IT, no, Secure IT. That's the one the Mart offers. No, I don't. I'm not going to put our reputation behind any of those. So if in the past one of my technicians has recommended something to you out of a kindness, please understand that it was done in the moment out of a kindness. It was not done because that technician was recommending that piece of technology was superior to anything else out there. And that's what, unfortunately, this customer believed, is that she was getting good antivirus software and she was getting it for free instead of paying us, for the Sophos. It's nowhere near as good. It's better than nothing, but it's nowhere near as good. So I wanted to be clear about that one just to make sure that everybody understands we take security really, really seriously at Schrock because it's the one thing that can really screw up your entire day, your entire family's day. You could have a straight up Canada Day in your house if you get a virus infection. Oh, you haven't heard about Canada Day? Oh, yeah, a couple days ago. Oh, half of Canada lost the internet. Oops. For 19 hours. What did that look like? Like for 19 hours, everybody who was working remotely, they couldn't work. For 19 hours, every teenage girl out there that was trying to text somebody. I'm not just talking about the internet, guys. I'm not just talking about like the internet at home. I'm saying the internet at home was down. There was no cell phone service. You couldn't call 911. We're going to tell you what happened there, what caused all this stuff. Could you imagine, though? I mean, some people just wouldn't. So let's go out in the forest and have a picnic, because it's the 1800s again all of a sudden. And the entire Canadian economy just ground to a halt for 19 hours because all telecom and internet went down. ATMs didn't work. People couldn't get money out of their accounts. You couldn't go spend your money anywhere because nobody could process credit cards. So if you didn't have cash, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go get stuff for the picnic to go into the forest. You couldn't put gas in the car to go to the forest. Like literally, you couldn't do anything if you didn't have cash. It was something to behold. So we're going to tell you about that coming up on the program today. Also, coming up on the program, we've had I've mentioned this a couple times on the show, and we're going to officially do it. We've been doing it unofficially. If you have upgraded your computer to Windows 11 in our service center over the past, week and a half, we have given you basically a free hour of labor, $125 discount on that upgrade. And that's kind of what we were considering doing. I just wasn't sure if there was enough demand, if enough people had computers that are running Windows 10 that could run Windows 11 with a hardware upgrade. Because, you check and say, my computer is not compatible. It pops up, it says it's not compatible. You think that's the end of the day. But if you have a Schrock modular computer, that's not the end of the day. So in the Omaha Service Center this week, I had a gentleman replace his entire core. He had a 2015 holiday special. So that's a 7-year-old computer. It would have done just fine through 2025. But if he wanted to use it for another 6 or 7 years, which he totally could do, we just have to replace the motherboard, put a Ryzen chip in there, put some new memory in there, and all of a sudden his computer can run Windows 11 and is screaming fast like it used to be, 7 years ago. That's the power of buying a modular desktop. When you buy a computer from Schrock, we can do those kind of things. The problem is the labor kills you, right? So 2 hours of labor, 1 hour to do the Windows 11 upgrade, 1 hour to install the hardware, that's $250. So on a holiday special, I guess it would make sense because you would still, after all the cost of the hardware, you'd be about half the cost of a new holiday special. But if you bought a Boundless for $699 and you're talking about putting $250 in labor in plus all the parts, it may not make sense to do that. You may just decide I should buy a new computer. The whole point of having a modular computer is that you can upgrade it and you can change it, and it's going to save you money over time. So what we're going to do for the rest of this month is we're going to discount Windows 11 upgrades by 1 hour of labor. So that means that you'll save $125 anytime you come in, regardless of what needs to be done. If your computer is compatible with Windows 11, you'll save an hour of labor. If we don't have to do any hardware at all, we'll just install it. You'll save an hour of labor. If your computer requires some hardware to become compatible, you won't pay any labor for us to install the hardware into your computer. It's a really awesome deal. We very rarely put labor on sale because labor is literally what pays our people, the labor charges. But this time around, it makes sense to do it because we want to make sure that customers who purchase modular computers have the opportunity to take those computers to Windows 11 if that's where they want to go. That doesn't mean you have to go to Windows 11 right now. You could just do the hardware upgrade right now if you wanted to. Stay on Windows 10 for a little while longer if you wanted to. Because there were some people last week on the program who told me, or was it 2 weeks ago, who told me there are some software limitations, some reasons they don't want to go to Windows 11 just yet. It's not that they don't like Windows 11. It's just that, my headset doesn't work right or something with Windows 11. So they want to wait until that stuff is, all those bugs, those kinks are worked out, which unfortunately at this point, we're almost a year into Windows 11. I hate to say it, but they're not going to work them out. They're just going to sell you a new headset. There's not going to be a major software update that makes the headset suddenly work better with Windows 11. It's going to be buy a new headset that's Windows 11 compatible because we know you're going to have Windows 11 anyway by 2025. So if it makes sense for you, this is something that we want to make sure you have the opportunity to do. If it makes sense to stay on Windows 10, we'll stay on Windows 10. The reason I'm bringing this up now is next month, you're going to hear me start talking about Safe Upgrade again. Now, the reason we're going to talk about it, this one is incredibly important. Microsoft has changed the frequency that they push out new updates for their operating systems. They used to do it twice a year. If you got 2 versions behind on your updates, like this customer who was in the service center who had the misunderstanding about Safe Upgrade, she was not getting security updates because her computer had missed so many version upgrades. And once you miss one, it doesn't catch up. It doesn't go back and get them because it missed it for a reason. Microsoft thinks if your computer is more than 18 months old, that you shouldn't be running Windows Windows 11 or a current version of Windows 10, you should be buying a new computer at that point. Literally, I was reading an article online. I Googled, how long should a laptop last? And people said, well, if you paid this much for it, it should last this long. I'm like, oh my gosh, this article is so stupid. But I think that, and across the entire internet, that article got copied and pasted, because every time every place I looked for that answer to that question, I found the same answer, that if you paid up to $700 for your laptop, it should last you 24 months. If you paid $1,000 for your laptop, it should last you 36 months. And if you paid more than $1,000 for your laptop, it could last up to 5 years. The batteries are all the same. It doesn't matter how much you pay for the laptop. The batteries are what fail. The memory is all the same. It doesn't matter how much you pay for the laptop. Yes, you can get faster RAM, different grades of memory, but it all wears out at the same pace. Solid-state hard drives. You can get faster, better solid-state hard drives, but they all wear out at the same time. Well, when you have a computer, it's wearing out over time. And when we replace an entire core for a customer, like we did for the gentleman in Omaha this week, it's literally a brand new computer. The only parts in it that are original, he has the case, like the box. He's got, the hard drive and the DVD drive and the power supply. I mean, he still has a DVD drive because a lot of the new computers don't come with them anymore. So that's kind of neat. So anyway, if it's something that it's of interest to you, if you're thinking, you know what, it's time for me to take my computer, maybe go to Windows 11, or maybe you were told you couldn't do it because of a hardware restriction, we can fix the hardware restriction on Schrock-built computers. A little tougher to do on HPs, Dells, and things like that. But on Schrock modular computers, we can do it all day long. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, Dale, your call, as well as if you own a yacht or an RV, we have some important internet information coming up from Starlink, because, we all have yachts and RVs. But, hey, you never know where people are listening to Compute This. There could be somebody out in the ocean right now working from their yacht listening to Compute This, and we're going to tell you how you can get faster internet coming up next.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Locations in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road, in Omaha, 168th and Burke, across from the Village Point Mall. In Papillion, 84th and Highway 370, right next to that brand new jail they're building, because, that's going to bust up the property value. And in the newest Schrock Innovations, which in West Des Moines, Iowa, 9500 University Avenue, doing great over there. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been bringing the computers in, especially in West Des Moines. Watching that service center grow and flourish has just been amazing. And of course, we appreciate all of our customers. And I want to make sure that during the summertime especially, things are a little bit slower in the service centers. So if you have those prepaid maintenance certificates that you've purchased, now is an excellent time to use them, get those maintenance checkups done, because next month, as I mentioned, when that new version, we think a new version of Windows 10 and a new version of Windows 11 are both coming out at the same time. Safe upgrade is going to be nuts, and it's going to be really important that you get your safe upgrade installed, because we don't know how Microsoft is going to handle it now. So are they still going to allow you to be 2 versions behind before you lose your software updates? But now that they only released 1 version a year instead of 2, are they going to allow you to be only 1 version behind? So we don't know what's going to happen with that. So it's going to be really important that you make sure your Windows 10 and your Windows 11 installations are both ready to go when Safe Upgrade lands. Microsoft, we believe, is going to push it out in September, so we're going to start offering the Safe. How can I help you on Compute This today?
2 questions. Windows 11 S mode, and do they have the technology to make laptops modular?
All right, so Windows 11 S mode. S mode is basically a secure mode. Microsoft needed an answer for Chromebooks. Chromebooks are considered to be safer because you can't do anything with them. You can't infect yourself. You can't install a virus. You can't open an attachment. You can't do any of these things that normally infect regular computers. So it's considered to be a safer application, especially for students. Well, Microsoft wasn't going to lose that market share. So what they did is they introduced basically the thing that makes Chromebooks safe is that you can't run anything. So unless you get a Chrome, like a Google app, then you can run those. Well, with S mode, you can only run apps you download from the Microsoft Store. You cannot run Office. You cannot run your Office 2016 that you've got. You can't run your you can't run Zoom. You can't install programs from the internet and run them on your computer. So if you get a computer that's in S mode, one of the first things everybody does is get it out of S mode. So you can totally take it out of S mode so you can use it as a regular computer. But a lot of especially your lower end computers are sold in S mode because they're considered to be Chromebook alternatives.
Okay.
What was your second question one more time?
Do they have the technology to make laptops modular?
Great question. There's one company out there that is kind of a cult favorite that makes what they call a modular laptop, where the pieces are interchangeable. It's not a matter of a lack of technology. In fact, the technology to do what they're doing is very old tech. The problem is cost. So with a laptop, you have a considerable savings in the cost of the components because everything is integrated and chip on board together. That's why the whole industry is doing this. Even in desktops now, everything is integrated with the motherboard. And then if something goes bad, you have to replace everything in the computer, which is way more expensive if you don't have a warranty, especially. So with laptops, unfortunately, it's not a technology thing, it's a cost thing. There are no modular laptops because the cost to make a modular laptop, no one would buy it, because it would be cheaper to buy one of the cheap laptops that burns up every 5 years and just use that instead. Because by the time you're done buying, the modules and everything, and I could upgrade the laptop. Isn't that great? Well, unfortunately, you can't upgrade. Even with like Intel computers, for example, desktops, there's a reason why most of our desktops are AMD desktops. Intel changes their socket every single year. AMD stays with their sockets for 5 years. When you buy a Schrock
That's
computer,
why I like AMD over the other one.
yeah, we get 5 years of upgradability out of it. But with a laptop, you get what you get when you buy it in the box, which is one of the reasons why we encourage customers. We do have the Resolute laptop at Schrock. It is the cheapest laptop we offer. It's 4 gigs of RAM, chip on board, 120 gigabyte solid state drive. The drive at least is upgradable. Nothing else is. Literally, you can't even add memory to it. And we have customers who are like, I just wanted, where's your $500 computer like Best Buy has? Well, there it is, but I wouldn't buy it. I would go one step higher so that you can have upgradability, so you can add memory. You can replace that hard drive and get some more storage. There are some things you can upgrade still in some laptops, but it's getting harder and harder to find units that are actually upgradable, which is one of the reasons we sell Asus laptops in our service center. Not even all the Asus ones are upgradable anymore. Some of them are locked in when you buy them with the amount of memory just baked into the motherboard. Thanks for the call, Dale. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Now, Dale is in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, 888-250-2091. If you have an RV or a yacht, guess what? You can get Starlink now. Starlink Maritime is available. So it costs $10,000 to set up. That's it. Just, but you could work from the ocean. You could work from the yacht. You don't even have to be on land anymore to work from home. It's a monthly service fee of $135 for the RV version of this, only $600 to set it up on your RV. But the trick with your RV is it only works when the RV is stationary. Whereas with the yacht, obviously, it's not really stationary. It's got dual dishes. It's super fast. So Starlink is pointing out that for maritime use, this sounds expensive, obviously. Number one, it sounds $10,000 and a monthly fee of $5,000 sounds expensive if you don't own a yacht. If you own a yacht, what's $5,000, I guess. But the long and the short of it here is Starlink has some experience with internet on boats. You might remember when they land their rockets on those platforms in the ocean, they live stream that. Well, guess what? They were using satellite internet, maritime internet to do that. And the maritime internet, the stuff that Starlink is selling is twice as fast, half the latency, so it's quicker and faster, and cheaper. I guess the cost per platform to stream those rockets landing there was costing them $165,000 a month. Whereas when they switched everything to Starlink, it's only $50,000 a month at retail prices. Of course, they own Starlink, so I'm sure they're getting it for less than $50,000 a month. But if they were paying the retail price, it would be $50,000 a month for their platforms. Basically, what's that? A 66% savings. So what they're saying is this is actually for people who purchase maritime internet, like cruise ships, Carnival, things like that. This is a huge savings, and it's going to dramatically, which is one of the reasons Carnival and the other cruise lines was really haranguing the FCC to allow Starlink to do this because it was going to bring down their costs quite a bit. So it's expensive to have, but I guess if you own a cruise ship or a yacht, what's another $5,000 a month, right? 888-250-2091. I don't own either of those things, so I'm not gonna buy that. We're going to take a quick break here while I contemplate my place in the universe. When we come back, Kathy, Helen, your calls are coming up, as well as Elon is walking away from the Twitter deal. You probably heard the news by now, but what I'm going to tell you in the next segment is what is happening behind the scenes and why Twitter is in incredibly bad position. They're in a lot of trouble right now. If you have Twitter stock, Monday should be the purge for Twitter stock. And we're going to tell you why coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive.
Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. More protests against the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade were held in Washington Saturday.
Protesters wore green bandanas. They've really become a symbol of the pro-abortion movement, and thousands marched in the rain to the gates of the White House yesterday, demanding that President Biden do more following the Supreme Court's returning the issue of abortion to the states. Some reportedly were actually tied themselves to the gates of the White House there.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. A 14-year-old is stabbed to death in New York.
NYPD Transit Chief Jason Wilcox said police believe an altercation between the victim and suspect started on the street and then continued into the subway where the attack happened on the train platform. Police were already responding to a crime in progress inside the City College Queens train station and found the 14-year-old male with a stab wound to the abdomen. The boy was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead.
Fox's Ted Lindner. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
It will be mostly sunny this afternoon, hot around the Omaha area with a high of 93. A slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm very late tonight. A little better chance, around 40% of showers and storms on Monday morning. Otherwise, clearing in the afternoon with a high of 87 and about 87 again on Tuesday with sunshine. That's your forecast. I'm Roger Olson.
Alrighty, guys, the stuff you missed during the breaks, I'll tell you, it's crazy. This stuff, the mics were off, right? Okay. Welcome back into Compute This, guys. 888-250-2091. All the service centers are open today except for Des Moines. Des Moines is closed on Sunday. All the other shops are open all week long for you. You can come in we're open at 10 in the morning. Des Moines closes at 6. Everyone else closes at 8. We are still hiring in Des Moines. We're trying to get those hours normed out there. It's been, a year and a half now? Yeah, like a year and a half since we reduced the hours in Des Moines for staffing issues because we literally just, we get to the point where we almost have staffing right and then somebody leaves. And it's like, ugh. And it's not a money thing. It's not a job thing. It's just a life thing right now. I don't know. I keep asking my wife, where did all the people go? Where did they all go? People need to work at some point, right? Oh, boy. But anyway, we are going to be doing an aftershock today after the show. So for those of you who don't know what the aftershock is, it's a little show that we do after the main show. So this show is all about your computers and Schrock and all the stuff. And there's all kinds of tangents and places my brain wants to go. But I have to be disciplined because I only have an hour. And so I can't explore all these things. So we do a second show after, which is where basically the detritus of my mind exits. So for some people find it humorous. Some people find it annoying. Although I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a little funny because I'm going to tell you, my wife and I this week are celebrating our 19th wedding anniversary. And this has nothing to do with computers. This is why this is something for the aftershock. But this is to get you to listen to the aftershock. We went to the Melting Pot in Kansas City for dinner on Friday because there is no Melting Pot around here anymore. It's been years since we've ate at the Melting Pot, and then, go and eat there. And I don't know. Some of the shine came off when I remembered that I had to pay that much money and cook my own food. Some of the shine came off with that a little bit, but it was fun. We went to, but we had the most awkward waiter ever. Like, you know how like you take your first bite of food and somebody comes to the table, hey, how is everything? And you're like, I don't know yet. Go where? It wasn't. That's not awkward. That's normal. I'm talking like this guy. Like we would be. My wife and I would be talking about something. Do you remember that time? Oh, ha, 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 ha. And then he's like, hi, do you need some water? And we're like laughing and like tears are running down our face and stuff. And we're like, what? Who are you? Why are you here? No, I'm fine. I don't need any. My glass is full. I don't need any water. He just kept coming back at the most awkward times. So finally, because I am an adult child at heart, I decided to screw with this guy. And I said something to my wife just as he approached the table that literally stopped him dead in his tracks and made him just like, you're kidding, right? And I'm not going to tell you what that is right now because that's why you need to listen to the Aftershock. 888-250-2091. We do all kinds of stuff during the Aftershock. A lot of people are, a lot of stuff has happened this week in the news. There's a lot of economic stuff going on. But the big thing that we're going to talk about coming up here on the program is Elon walking away from the Twitter deal. This is some financial jujitsu going on here. A lot of people are like, no, it's Elon being a crusader for truth, justice, and the American way. And I think it's a little more simple than that. This is about money. This is about Elon wanting a better price on Twitter. And this is about Elon maneuvering Twitter into a box that is so deadly that if they don't sell to Elon at whatever price Elon dictates, they're going to go bankrupt. Like, go away, no more Twitter, gone, bankrupt. Like MySpace, bankrupt. So we're going to tell you exactly how that could happen. But first, Kathy's been really patient sitting on the line here for us. I want to make sure we get to her call. Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I am planning on buying a new computer, but I have a problem in one of yours, by the way. I have a problem in that I have 3 hard drives, and I'm concerned about whether or not I can transfer the extras, because obviously one is the main one, whether I can transfer the extras to the new computer.
So when you say the extras, what are the extras that you're worried about transferring?
The 2 extra hard drives.
Oh, gotcha. So are you thinking laptop or desktop?
Oh, definitely a desktop.
Okay, yeah, that won't be a problem at all. We can move those hard drives over to the new desktop, set up backup drives, do everything that needs to be done to make sure everything is up and running the way you need it to be. So yeah, when it comes to desktops, we can literally do anything. Laptops, sometimes we're a little bit limited by the form factor of the laptop, how thick it is, and how thick the drives are that you have and stuff. But when it comes to desktops, there's lots of empty room in the box that we can put all kinds of stuff in there.
Oh, good. That's just what I need. More room.
Yeah, and that won't be a problem at all. We can definitely get you taken care of there, get everything moved over into the new box, and then the new technology that is out is just you're going to be amazed with how fantastically fast everything is. The types of solid state hard drives have changed now, so the new computer will come with a different technology solid state than the one you have now. It'll be a lot faster and a lot just wickedly faster than what you're used to having now. So it's really phenomenal when you have people upgrading, when they go from a mechanical drive to a solid state drive in their old computer, and it makes it super fast again. And they're like, this is amazing. That I mentioned earlier, there was an article I was reading about when is the right time to replace your computer. And then there were like signs that your computer was that it's time to buy a new computer. And literally they went down the list of everything that's a symptom of if you need a solid state hard drive. And I'm like, literally, you're telling people to buy a whole new computer when all they have to do is put a solid state hard drive in their computer, and it's like a brand new computer, and it's a fraction of the cost. So that's why you shouldn't go on the internet to get all your information because sometimes it's just not right. But yeah, Kathy, we can definitely move those hard drives into that new tower for you.
Which, by the way, are solid states.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably why you want to move them. They're valuable drives.
Okay, and when I buy the new computer, will it be Windows 11 or Windows 10?
It'll be Windows 11.
Okay. I will probably be seeing you in another couple months.
Sounds good. We'll look forward to seeing you then, Kathy. Thank you for the call today. I appreciate you joining us on the program. Helen's also on the line. Helen, thanks for joining us on the show. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I've got a couple questions that are interrelated, and it's about Internet, Google, and Firefox.
Okay.
Okay? Got an email this morning from Google asking if I want to keep my phone number as my recovery phone.
Yes.
And the head of at the top of the email, it says, help strengthen the security of your Google account.
Yep.
What is this?
Okay, so let's
Is
say
this
for
typical?
No, this is normal. Let's say that, and of course, with all emails, you should never trust an email, even an email that says it's coming from Google. You should go log into your Google account and do this internally in your Google account. But what they're asking you is, in the event you would lose your password to your Google account, to reset your password, we can send an email address or an email link to you. But if you don't have your password to Google, you can't get into your email. And maybe you don't have access to whatever old email that you used to have back in the day that when you set up the Google account, 15 years ago. So now they say we can text you a number to like a code to your cell phone to confirm your identity if you would ever need to reset your password. But if you got a new phone number, for example, and maybe you just didn't think to update Google on what your current phone number is, or maybe you didn't think that, giving Google your most recent information was really something that you needed to do at that time. Well, Google's telling you if you don't do that, if you lose your password, they try to send you a code that you're not going to be able to get into your Google account ever again. And I know it sounds really far-fetched, but we actually have customers. My mom is in this situation. She's got a Google account set up, and she's got the computer set up to automatically log into it. She does not know what the password is. She cannot for the life of her remember the password. We don't know what the password is because she set it up, and the recovery phone number was my parents' old phone number before my dad died. And so when he passed away, they got rid of the phone. So now Google can't send a text or a call to that phone. And so now when my mom buys a new computer, she's literally going to have to throw away her entire Gmail account because she just doesn't know the password. There is no recovering that. There is no steps to go through or person to call. You're just out of luck. So this is Google telling you, hey, don't get stuck like Thor's mom. Make sure that you're not out of luck. Make sure that your number is current with us so that if you ever needed to reset your password or you forgot your password for some reason, you had a stroke, whatever happens that you might forget your password, you can reset your account and get access to everything again. Or more importantly, make sure your number is current so that if you would ever pass away, expectedly or unexpectedly, that your kids, your grandkids, your family members could get access to your Google account by resetting your password using your cell phone. There's a lot of things that people don't realize. When we lost my father-in-law unexpectedly of a heart attack just over a year ago, you don't think about these things. Like what happens if something happens to me, no one's going to be able to access any of my stuff. And why would they? Well, they might want my pictures. They might want access to videos and stuff that I've created or purchased over time. Who knows why people who are still around might want to see the stuff that Thor has. But I should at least make sure that there's a way for them to do that, right? So that's all Google's doing here is they're trying to make sure that you're keeping your recovery options current so that in the event you would need to use them, they will work.
Okay. Answered that question.
All right. Hey, well, thank you very much for the call.
I
appreciate it.
Wait, I've got another one.
Oh, okay.
Come back.
I'm right here.
I've wanted to use or have used Firefox as a browser in the past.
Yes.
And that's how I would normally get to Google because I'd use things like Google Maps, etc. Okay. But over the past month, it's changed from going to Firefox to going through Firefox to Google. In other words, I click on the Firefox app and it takes me to Google.
Okay.
Through Firefox. Okay. Now it's changed so that it comes through as just strictly Google when I ask for Firefox.
So
do you have any clues as to what's going on here?
When you double-click on the Firefox icon, Google Chrome is opening?
The Google Chrome opens? No, I'm talking about just the regular Google. I don't...
Well, I thought that's what you when you opened Firefox, you wanted the home page to be Google, right?
No, I wanted the home page to be Firefox. And then
the
I
Firefox
branched
start
out
page.
there. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's now it's gradually changed so that the Firefox app brings me to Google. I don't get Firefox anymore.
There's a couple possibilities here. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that Firefox gets a lot of money from Google. And the reason they get a lot of money from Google is they're paid to set your default search engines to be, Google for everything, which is one of the reasons when you buy a computer from Schrock, when you get it from us, we change all those default settings so that you're not tracked from day one. If you choose to use Google, you can go ahead and do it. But otherwise, we're using privacy-focused services for everything. It is possible that Firefox changed the start page with a recent update, but usually when those changes happen, they can be undone in the settings. So up in the top right corner, if you look for those three little dots that are in the top right corner there, you can click on those and open up a menu to go into settings. And under the home page, you can set it to be the Firefox default page again. So if you need help doing that, please give us a call in the service center and let us know, Helen. And we're happy to walk you through doing that over the phone or over a Schrock desk. It's not hard to do. But my guess is that there was a change made. There was an update for Firefox this week as well. But thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. 888-250-2091. So real quick here, what's going on with Elon and Twitter? So recapping you on the news, in case you've missed it, Elon says, I'm not going to buy Twitter. I'm out. His attorneys send a notice. He filed all the paperwork to officially let everybody know he is not buying Twitter. Why not? He says it's because Twitter has more bots than they said they did. Twitter said they only had about 5% of fake accounts, and Elon thinks it's 20% or more of the accounts. In fact, a quick check found that almost half of Joe Biden's followers are fake. They're bots. So if half of the president of the United States' followers are bots, what does that say about your platform? There's a lot more than just 5% of the users being fake. So the challenge, though, is Elon waived discovery. So when he agreed to buy Twitter, he waived his right to dig into the numbers and make sure everything was right. So there's one camp that says Elon is in trouble here. He's going to have to pay the $1 billion breakup fee and go through this. And of course, it's going to be in court for years, if not a decade, before anybody pays anybody any money or anything happens. The thing that Elon is saying, however, is that no, you misunderstand. I'm not saying that I'm not buying Twitter because I'm unhappy that there's a lot of bots there and I think I'm getting a raw deal. I am saying I'm not buying Twitter because Twitter misrepresented the value of their business through their official SEC filings, that other investors also made decisions to buy their stock based upon. In other words, they said in their official filings they had less than 5% bots. But when you go into the metrics of how they measure that, they don't have a formula. They literally just make up the number, or they make it up anecdotally from data points that are collected that are different every time. There's no consistency or congruity to how that number is calculated. And how many fake accounts are on Twitter is vitally important because Twitter makes most of its money through advertising. No advertiser wants to spend money so bots can look at their ads. So if 20, 30, 50% of the users on Twitter are bots, all those advertisers who paid money for all those years to advertise on Twitter, well, they had 20% of their money stolen. You think they're going to be upset about that? All the shareholders that bought Twitter because they believed that there was this many users that would be able to be monetized, do you think they're going to be upset? Yeah, Twitter's in a lot of trouble right now because when this does go to court, because if Twitter doesn't sue Elon, the board, the shareholders will sue Twitter because the deal was supposed to go through. So they have to sue Elon. If they don't sue Elon, they get sued. And if they do sue Elon, it goes to court where you have discovery. And in discovery, they're going to say, what is your formula for calculating spam bots on Twitter? And they're going to say, we don't have one. Or this is what it is. And then Elon, they gave Elon all the data. So they dumped all the data on him. They said, Elon, take everything. Here's all the information. because there's so much data here. We hit you with a fire hose. You're never going to get through it in time before you have to make a decision on buying the company, right? Well, it's not like that information went away, you people. He still has it. So now if you try to lie later, he's got the base data that he can go back and calculate, well, this is how many users you had at this point, and this is how many of them met your definition of a bot, yet you didn't report the correct number to the SEC. Why? So Twitter's going to either get sued by its shareholders because it's not going to pursue Elon, or they're going to get sued by their shareholders when they are informed that it's very possible that Twitter misrepresented some key aspects of their business to investors over a long period of time in order to maintain a stock price. Yeah, it's going to get kind of hairy at Twitter. So ideally, the way to get out of this would be to dramatically lower the price of Twitter and sell it to Elon quick. Like, please, Elon, take this so we don't all go to jail quick. We'll see what happens. But I'm guessing there's still interest there to buy Twitter, but not at the old price before the market tanked. You know, right now he wants to see a price that is much lower than the price from before the market tanked, where he doesn't have to put as much of his own assets up, basically hawk as much stuff to buy it. He's basically mortgaging Park Place and Broadway to buy Twitter, where he might only need to mortgage Vermont Avenue. So he's gonna do what he can do here. But keep an eye on this story, guys, because Twitter, no matter how Twitter cuts this, Twitter is hosed. They're in trouble. They're in big trouble. You're going to see a huge dump of Twitter stock because everyone is going to sell now and ask questions later. So Monday, if you have Twitter stock, put your orders in now, guys. That's your unofficial financial advice from your computer repair guy. All right, we're going to take our final break here real quick, and then when we come back, Canada lost their internet for a day. What happened? How could this happen to a modern civilized country? How did people react to the loss of the internet for a day? We're going to dive into it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identities safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys. Final segment of the show here. We got about 90 seconds before we got to wrap it up. But I want to remind everybody to stay tuned for the Aftershock coming up next at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Provided that Facebook gets their signal together, we've been pretty stable here. I blipped the internet a couple times to get it stable, which shouldn't work, but does. So, fun times. All right, so Canada lost their internet for an entire day, 19 hours. So what happened? Let's see here. We have Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, all affected. Everybody in town, all their cell phones are down. All their landlines are down. All the internet is down. You can't call 911 if something goes wrong. Like literally, there's no emergency service communication. Comms are down. You are an island. It's like you're in the 1980s, except you don't have a landline. There's no kitchen phone wall or wall phone, that you can pick up with a cord and talk to somebody and hang up on the wall. Or if you're angry, slam it down on the wall. You can't do that anymore. Well, what happened? Nobody knows. Rogers is the company that provides pretty much all these services in Canada. They're a 20-year-old company. That's as old as we are. Heck, what am I doing wrong that I don't run an entire country's internet? But basically, they had some kind of an outage. They said it was not a cyber attack, but they have not said what it was yet. And this is potentially a massive, massive failure that is going to have implications to their entire business model going forward. So this will be something to definitely keep an eye on. Kathy, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Marissa will be back in the Papillion shop. She's been on vacation. So she'll get that out to you here on Monday. Stay tuned, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the Aftershock coming up next. Also, if you're looking to upgrade those computers for Windows 11, you can save $125 doing it this month at Schrock Innovations. See you next week, guys.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 11.